Balotelli, Aguero!
Hello everybody, welcome to MCFC 9320 Group TV. Now tonight I've got a real special guest, a super City fan. Not only has he, lived in Spain and commuted, back and forth for virtually every single City game, while he lived in Spain. He's back on home soil now, but the amount of work the guy gets through is incredible. He does a lot for charity, and I'm sure a lot of you out there know who it is. It's Eddie Sparrow. He's the founder and owner of the City Memorial page, which I'm sure most of you will be a member of. I'm sure most of you have seen Eddie around the grounds, whether it's home, away, or overseas. It was really good to catch up with Eddie, because some of the things he was saying, proper heartfelt stuff about not only the struggles over the past 12 months, during COVID, but also the work what he does. Just take a listen to this. Absolutely brilliant. Hi everybody. Tonight I am delighted to welcome Eddie Sparrow. I'm sure everybody knows who Eddie is. Eddie, thank you for joining us, my friend.
It's a pleasure, mate. Honestly, it's nice to be on here, and great work you're doing.
No, thank you very much. I'll throw that one straight back at you. The work what you do is absolutely amazing. We'll get onto that shortly. I want to know first, have you been a City fan all your life? What was your first match?
Well, I used to live near Main Road, very close. And my dad was a massive City fan. And he was also, originally Frank Swift was his hero. And then a bald-headed guy, he used to have a bit of hair, called George Eslop.
What you can say me then,
Eddie? No, George Eslop, who played in the Champions side. So anyway, he took me. My first game I always remember was against Liverpool, if my memory serves me right, was in 1967. Now, we weren't going to win the title that year, we never knew. So I wasn't a glory seeker. But that year, we went on to win it. And then from that day, I started off in the North Stand, the Platt Lane with the open tunnels. It was freezing. And as I got older and my dad, he had a butcher's, I started going on my own, and I ended up in, as everybody does usually, Kippax.
Yep.
And that was great because, I feel sorry for those guys that never stood in the Kippax. It was dank, it smelt at the back, but it was a fantastic. That's
it. And you even had even towards the end, we had the G Kelly stand when we dipped in the old third division. It seemed like the worse we was getting, the more we was pretty much putting two fingers up to everybody mocking us, and more started going. It's a credit to us City fans that they had to build another stand because of how rubbish we was.
Do you know, mate? I often think when people go on about, and a lot of people believe we only sort of had a history since the new owners. Well, they don't know the football if they know that, because people like you and me know about the other clubs. We know they've got history, but for some reason now we only had it since they came in. But I always remember, I think, and I would never change one result, not one bad result. York City, Stockport, Brighton in the cup. I wouldn't swap one, because that's part of being a football supporter. And I always remember being against Mansfield. Don't quote me. I think it was 3,011 people. I was there. Auto windscreen. We lost 2-1. And I looked around that stadium that night, and it was just, there was no one in it apart from 3,000. And I look back to that night and to where we are now.
Yeah.
And I remember my first games were with the Belley and Somerville of this world.
It was Mansfield, and I was there also.
Well, credit to you. Now, I know as a supporter, I know some people want to go and can't go for disability or money, and I understand that. A supporter to me, and I don't know if you agree with me, mate, is you go whoever you're playing. If you play the Liverpools, Bayerns of this world, and sorry to bring Liverpool into it, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yep.
But they end up playing your Prestons with respect to them, and your Gillinghams. That's who you go to see. Man City. Whoever they play is a bonus. Now, that's the way I've looked at it through my City career. So even though we went down in the depths, you became used to that. You thought about the days they'd won things, but that's what a supporter is. It's not
You're absolutely right, because people ask me, what's the best season you've had as a City fan, and I always say, probably taking away the first time we won the Premier League in 2012. I always say, when we dipped down to the old third division, we went to the likes of the Gillinghams, the Colchesters and stuff like that. I'm like you. You've travelled home and abroad watching City. That particular season, I didn't miss a match, home or away, and some of the grounds, we just took them over. The home fans was actually selling tickets to the City fans, just making a little bit of profit, and it was sensational. The togetherness as City fans. Did you find that when we dipped down there?
Yeah, and you know what? When you get people that are level-headed on social media, social media can be fantastic. It's been great for me, or it can be wicked for a lot of people. But a lot of supporters realise that us lads in those days went in our masses and now they will say to people, they're not plastics, they're not glory seekers, because they were here in the thousands. They're the ones that understand that now with the success, obviously, I notice on Champions League games, a lot of people that sit near me on Champions League games, the ordinary Premiership, they're not there, and we get a lot of people we've never seen.
Yeah,
they've got the corders out and everything. That has happened. It's going to happen. The club don't mind that. They want the cash in now, but the clubs like Gillingham and they know that we went years ago when we were struggling. We've not all just suddenly appeared because we're successful.
I think that's why you are right. That's why the lower league, and that's not disrespectful to the lower league clubs, but they relate to us because of them reasons. They remember City rocking up at the Rochdales and the Berries and the Stockports and the Lincolns. Like, for instance, in 1996, when I got married in 1996, got off the plane, off our honeymoon, me and my wife. I just said, you don't mind if I get a ticket for the match, love, do you? Because we was getting a taxi. No, don't. So pulled up at Main Road, got a ticket for the Lincoln match in the cup. Dropped the suitcase off at home. I said, right, love, so get me car keys. I said, I'm going now. She went, where are you going? I went, told you I'm going to the match. I've just got a ticket. She went, I didn't bloody know you meant tonight. So I'd come straight back and straight to Lincoln. And that you either got that passion or you've not.
This is awful what I'm saying. You obviously, you heard I was talking to my daughter before. I always remember when we played Tottenham, it was an opening game of the season, I think about 1995. Now, I should know because that's the year she was born. But we were due to play Tottenham on the day. And I like you, I never missed a game. So if City played, I was there. My wife was taken into hospital in the morning, early. Baby was due. And I'm thinking, and I hope she can't hear this, but she knows what I'm going to say. Oh my God, we've got a game today of all days. And this sounds awful, right? But when you're a football sport, you can program to your games. Everything. You can get married 10 times, but you only got the one football club, or you should.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
So, and I'm not being awful. So it got to about midday. I'm thinking, I'm going to get to Main Road, and I've got to go. Can't miss that game. So I made arrangements with my wife. I kept nipping out to the car because she was due any time. But this went on for hours. So I kept and the midwives in there were going, where's your husband going? He's going to listen to the game on his radio. So they said, oh, listen, we've got a little transistor radio. You can bring it in the delivery room if you want, but keep it in the corner and make sure you don't turn it on. So I spent the whole of the Spurs game listening to Radio Manchester. Well, Brit didn't arrive till 6:20. If I'd known, I could have gone and got back. So
that's just terrible, isn't it? It's weird the way it goes, because although I live in a certain part of Cheshire now, I made sure, like, my lad and my daughter was born at St Mary's, and he was actually the delivery suite was actually overlooking Main Road, and it's really, really weird the way it ingrains you being it's not just City, but
no, you're any club. You can be
as a as a supporter, it's really weird. What about this season have you enjoyed? What have you not enjoyed?
This season or any season?
This season, the way the world has changed.
Right, to be honest, obviously, I mean, I go home and away in all European ties as well. I mean, Shakhtar, anywhere they play, there's a few of us, we go to everyone. I'm very lucky. You know, I'm 63, I'm in a position I can go. So, I mean, if we go to Brighton and Bournemouth, we spend a weekend there. Otherwise, we'll go down by train with friends to the other. And I think it's that, I think a lot of people base their lives on their 2-week holiday in the summer. When you're a football supporter, it's a constant holiday, if you get what I mean. Every other week, you're in a different city, a different town. I think it's that. And I think it's meeting. Everybody that's been to an away game will say it's completely different to a home game.
Totally.
The camaraderie is much more.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is much more. You meet people, and you know it's all right seeing them on the Etihad on the concourse, but it's, you know, when you meet them in, say, City outside Euston, and then you've got to get the tube, you're all together. It's that I've missed. But do you know what? People have passed away in this, and anybody that goes on about missing the games is being selfish, because I know you weren't too well yourself. Some people will never get to a game again.
Well, so, Eddie, I don't know if you saw the interview I did with Henry Winter, and it was like it brought a
amazing.
It brought one thing you said. What it did, it brought a shudder down my spine. And he went, when the fans are finally let back in, you'll be take your seat, and you'll be looking round of somebody who you used to sit next to who's passed away with COVID. And that's the realization, you know, just like a year has made, you know, all your loved ones, and that brings us onto your memorial page. You've been doing that for a number of years now. Tell us a bit about your memorial page on Facebook.
Right. Well, okay. Do you want me to go back to the Spain bit? Because that leads on.
Because you used to live in Spain and you used to commute for the games, didn't you?
Right. I was a stock controller, and my dad had a massive stroke. I'm an only child, so I used to go and look after. I used to go after work to go to Cherry Tree Hospital to look after him. It was a really bad stroke, and he was there for 16 weeks. And I went every night to look after him, and then go to, if there was a match on, I go from there to the match. And they used to start wheeling people around on you know, the wheelchairs and stuff, and I liked it. So I thought, oh, I'll give up my well-paid job and go to a unpaid job, if you know what I mean, and look after people in the community. So I did that. And then through that, I had a place in Spain that I rented out in Mallorca, in Calador. And then someone said to me one day, you're doing caring. I'm talking about, you're doing caring, aren't you? But I said, yes. And they said, well, there's an English couple here. Both need looking after. Do you fancy it? So I'm thinking, life in the sun, fantastic. Man City, right? Well, it's been my life. Now, I know the people that are watching this thinking, well, what would he go there for when he loves City so much? Well, I then said to my wife, well, I'll only do this job, because she got a job there, if I can go and watch City. She said, well, you're going to go every 2 or 3 months? I said, no, I'm going every week. So she said, you can't. I said, listen, I'll make sure I work damn hard. I'll do some taxi driving as well. I'll work in a bar. I'll even fit extractor fans with a guy I've never done before. I'll do anything. So in 6 years living in Mallorca, I missed 6 home games in all competitions. And I saw a number of away games. Why, you're asking, did I miss 6 games? Well, 4 of them because the ash cloud decided to come across. I couldn't get off the ash.
That's no excuse. An ash cloud. Stop.
I went to the airport and I couldn't get off it. And I'm like, what's up? No, you can't. We're not playing. The other 2 funerals I had to go to there. For instance, the FA Cup final with Stoke, I flew in on the Friday.
Yeah.
Probably Saturday. Flew back to Mallorca Sunday. We played them on the Tuesday at the Etihad. I flew back. I had to go to Fistral there in Palma. So I flew Tuesday morning back into Manchester and then flew back to Mallorca Wednesday. I mean, the Sunderland game, I flew all the way to the Sunderland game. It was called off because of the wind.
I remember it well. It got called off when me and my son was sat having a bite to eat at McDonald's on Ashton Hall Road.
Yeah. Well, I probably just landed then.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's your fault. You brought the wind with you.
I did. So with that, I used to get on the planes and people, they knew me. And by this time, I spent more time up there than I did on the floor. And, you know, the air hostesses knew me, the pilot, everyone knew me. I used to be great. So what brought me onto the memorial was my mum and dad were both in the memorial garden, their ashes. So that's the only time I got to see them. So I'd go and see it on, and then someone said, Eddie, why don't you've got a big following now. People know you because of your traveling. Why don't you do something for the people that passed on? So I thought, oh, I'll have a go at it. I've nothing to lose. So I made a page up. Let's not forget Past Blues. And I put mum and my dad on, who was mostly City fan. And then someone said, oh, can you put my dad on? Blah, blah. And it snowballed. So we're looking now, 2021, there's 8,500 people follow it. But so much.
What year did you set it up?
About 7 years ago,
yeah.
I think, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But it's just not, if anybody's been in Mary D's, in the middle room there's a huge plaque on the wall. It's 6x4, I think. It's solid Indian granite. And it cost a lot of money. It was donated to me. And it's, if anyone knows the memorial page, we've got a memorial flag that I let people use for a funeral. And in the middle, there's a poem. And in the poem, that's on the plaque in the Mary D's. But I've done wristbands. I've done so much things I've designed things. One guy phoned me up and said, Eddie, I've been in New York. You got some of your stickers in a bar window there. It's just got crazy.
That itself, it must be rewarding for you. Because listen, I've known you for a number of years now, and you're probably one of the most humblest, kindest guys I've ever met. You're not doing things for yourself. You're not in it for a name or anything like that. I know that. It's staggering how many people that are members on your page, and you can see it straight away, because I have it as an alert on my Facebook. So when something goes on, alert, pay respects, la di da di da, and the amount of people, how popular it is, it's incredible. It's like a niche. I've never known any other supporters from other clubs to have anything like this. It's like it's a one-off, if you like.
That's for me, that's humbling. So many people in different countries, Australia, New Zealand, they know of the page. And I must add, there's been thousands of people that have been added that have passed away on there. Thousands. So many people have been mentioned that I've added that sadly they've passed away. And it's like I told you, and I don't mind, I think I'm up to about 33 grand now. And we've, through the page that I've been able to raise, through the memorial nights, where I must thank ex-City players who come on my nights for me. We get 200 people in there, and money's, and what I'm doing, I never wanted to sell on there. That wasn't the idea. But then I realized that so many people that passed on there have needed, and their families have needed loved ones. They've needed organizations like nurses, air ambulance, New Hearts, New Start, the amount. And so I thought, you know what, I'll start trying to make money for these people. And the first one,
and it must be said, every penny, and I mean every penny, does go to the charities.
How it works is, and I want to make this complete, how it goes now. I have my memorial nights at the Premier Lounge in Northern Shore. And the guy who runs it, who's been so helpful for me, and by the way, he's a Man U fan, but he deals with City more than he does with United now, I know.
Listen, if he's making money for charity, helping for charity, no matter what.
I will say, when they're up and running, if you want to go to sportsman dinner, go to the Premier Lounge in Northern Shore. They have some fantastic people on there. Ex-City players I can get there, and they wanted Keegan before it, but they've had Tyson. They're really top notch. Now, how it works is, he said to me when it locked down, Eddie, obviously I'm closing down. You can't do anymore. I have all this memorabilia, because usually auctions it off on the night. For instance, on my night, say he's got a reserve of 200 on a piece. Obviously, when you've got 200 guys that have had a drink, might go up to 300-400, and I get the. So every piece that you guys, I'm speaking to you all out now, every piece you buy, whether it's 150 or 600, he will give me a percentage. And I always, when I get that at the end of the month, when I tally up with him, he'll take all his money and he will give me a percentage of that, which then I will transfer to a charity and put the receipt online.
Yeah, and I must say they're all genuine pieces as well, because that is one there which I bought from you. What went, a little
Yeah,
bit towards a charity. It's 100%, certificate of
I must say, so many people say to me, "Oh, I've got this shirt signed," but I only deal with John. I don't deal with anybody else. Every piece comes with a COA.
Yeah.
Everyone knows where to come from, and I know it's legit. And I say to everybody, if you buy a piece, even if it's a penny, like at the moment I did last year, I think the last one, you'll know, it was Colin Bell's school.
Yeah.
I did Colin Bell's school for him. This one we've raised just in the last month, 800, 400 for Works for You in Stalybridge, and 400 for Lee Crooks, the Terry Crooks Foundation.
Terry Crooks. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
He's asked me to join on board with him, which I'm dead proud about. So we've raised 400 odd for him, and he's helping the kids in Yorkshire a lot, and he's telling me how badly they are. Some of the kids are they've got nothing. So we're on that at the moment. But no, I've had charity, Guitar Man at City, Paul Hand, he did a charity bingo for me.
Yeah.
I think, my struggles, right? I should have had a new knee over a year ago. It's completely gone, and I need a new complete, but because of OCD, I'm scared. And I know that sounds crazy, but
no, if you don't mind, just touch a little bit on your OCD and just because, and again, if I had my hat, I'd be tipping my hat to you. That some of the struggles I know you've gone through, and to turn that round and the work you do for other people, absolute respect, sir.
Right. Well, the OCD has been a lifelong thing. I've seen psychiatrists and CBT treatment, and I'm on medication. So it's going to be that way. So, a doctor once said, you'd never be cured of this. It's severe for me. From the minute I wake up until the minute I go to sleep, from getting dressed, shopping, making a drink, everything is structured, and I've got to do it. I might do it and have to change what I'm doing because it's wrong, or a loved one's going to get ill. I'd said to you before, we had a quick discussion, I can go in a shop, I look like a shoplifter. I move beans about all over the place because the can's not the right one. Going in a shop, if there's three, I know it's crazy, 3 entrances, that's a nightmare.
You say it's crazy, Eddie, but there'll be people watching this who can relate to it, who've kept these struggles to themselves. So, as they say, it's okay not to be okay.
I would say, and this means a lot to me, if there's anybody out there who wants to get in touch with me, who suffered, they think they've got OCD, go on my memorial page or my normal page and private message me if you need to. I've lived with it all my life. Every one of you guys watching this, if you've got a mental health issue, you're no different than anybody else. You're special. It's what you're born with. So many people.
That's your life's path.
Listen, you can be the strongest guy in the world, but inside you're afraid of telling people about your problems. Loads of people know on social media about my struggles. I'm not embarrassed by them. That's me.
And I think that is very, very important, because there used to be the man up, man up. Thankfully, you don't. I never heard that line anymore. Man up, because people, especially men, they're coming out and speaking about mental health issues and stuff like that. And I'm so pro people coming out and stuff like that, because if one person comes out and they don't commit suicide and stuff like that, it's well worth being there for these people. Where I work, I won't say where I work, but I won't say where I work now. It is all geared to well-being, mental health and stuff like that. Especially over the past year, the money what the company who I work for, the money they're pumping into stuff like that, they have like mental health first aiders and stuff like that who are going on courses and stuff like that to get a better knowledge of what goes on. And the world is, especially over the past 12 months, I found the world has changed where, blokes are going, do you know something? I am struggling. And I applaud everybody. It's that just initial little opener. I'm struggling.
You need to try to talk to people. I know it's difficult. I'm 6'5", and people look at me as a gentle giant. I probably am a gentle giant, but No, serious. Do you not think there's times when I'm in my bedroom and I cry my eyes out because of the struggles I've had? I'm not embarrassed by that. I'll open up to people. I'm not embarrassed one bit. And it's hard. It's hard to live this way. You can see someone with a broken leg. You understand what they're going through. But people, there's so many people in city centres walking about who are carrying a burden, don't want to tell anybody. And then for some reason it gets too much and they end their life's finished, but it also impacts on their family.
Absolutely.
Now, try and talk to people. Don't be embarrassed by saying you've got a mental health issue. If anybody laughs at you for that, that's their problem, not yours.
Have you found that there's more, and I say especially men, because this is why I always say women are the stronger sex without a shadow of a doubt. They'll go to the friends and they'll talk about, issues that they've got and stuff like that. Men, it's a case of, we're the breadwinners, we're the, we keep the family going. I'm not talking about that. I found in the past year that more men are opening up now.
I think so. And I think the worst thing is, when you hear of people that take their own lives, they actually say sometimes, not being, oh, what a coward to do that. No, some people get to a point where it's too much for them. And if you live the life that I do personally, sometimes life does become too much. When that illness, as in the OCD, controls you, someone controls me, I don't control the OCD. So I know the only time this will leave me is when I pass away, which is truth. I'm never going to beat it. But I won't hide it and let people and say, well, I'm fine, because I'm not fine. I wouldn't be on medication. I wouldn't have seen psychiatrists. I wouldn't struggle daily. I have to accept it. And the more people that try to go out to their loved ones, pull them to one side and say, love, I've got a problem. Really, I need to speak to you about it. Now, hopefully their partner will say, come on, let's talk about this. Let's sort it. We won't involve the kids.
Yeah.
Just try and speak to people before you go down the wrong road. I don't want to see you on the memorial page. And
that is something that is even that what you've just said. I don't want to see you on the memorial page. That does actually speak volumes. Do you find with your struggles, what you've been going through, you find that a comfort that seeing people on the page and stuff like that who they find it consoling, because I'm sure the majority of people who'll be watching this are actually members of your page anyway, because it is a very, very popular, and rightly so, popular page. So do you find it a comfort to you like everybody else? Because I know I put my best mate, when he passed away, 46 suddenly, he went on your, I put him on your page, and just reading people's comments, the kind words, very, very emotional. But I found it comforting that I knew that it's not just me who's going through that. It's a hell of a lot of people.
It's amazing what you say there, because I've had people who've never spoken to me before lose a loved one, and I get a message off them hours after a loved one's passed away. Eddie, we've been put onto you. Can you please add dad, gran, brother, sister onto your page? And I've put them on. I've asked for details. I'll do a little thing for them, maybe put them in. And then you'll see hundreds of people comment on there.
Absolutely.
I knew the guy, what a lovely, and they'll get back to me and say, what a comfort this has been to us to know that our loved one was so loved by so many people.
It really is. And I can say that personally because of the experiences I had, when...
It works the other way as well. Originally, a family got in touch with me in Australia and said, listen, our son's had a massive motorbike accident. He's very poorly. Big city fan, they came from Manchester. Can you just put this was very early on. Can you put a post on about him? And I thought, well, yeah, fair enough. Because and I put on, can you put some prayers on? Loads of people. He actually recovered, not through that, but it was nice. So then, a lovely story this. About 5 years ago, and I hope she's watching, a lady got in touch with me and said, my son, we live in Newcastle. I won't mention the name, but I'll tell we live in Newcastle. He's 10, and he's just been diagnosed with a brain tumour. And it's coming up Christmas. Can you get some people to send him some Christmas cards? So I put online. The week after, I got a message out. Oh, Eddie, our local postman wants words with you, but she's laughing. Thousands of cards have come through the door.
I remember it. Very, very, very well.
Now, why I went on about the OCD was I don't like hospitals. So I messaged her, said, do you mind if I do something? She said, what is it? I said, well, can I go and visit him up in Newcastle at the hospital? Now, I'm no Mother Teresa, but I thought I'll try and help him out. So I got a Fernandinho shirt, a boot, scarves, a lot. I borrowed a car because mine was off the road. I drove up to the unit up at Newcastle, right next to the ground, and went into this room where he was. He couldn't smile, right? And he looked really rough. And I walked in, and the mum said, "Do you want some time with him?" I said, "Yeah." And I had tears in my eyes. I couldn't open. So the nurses went out. I said, this before COVID, by the way. I sat down with him. I gave him the shirt. I put a boot on his chest and all the badges and city stuff. And he tried to smile, and he fisted me like that. No. And I couldn't believe it. And it's one of the most amazing times in my life to see his face and to see him. I was in there I did PlayStation with him. Anyway, he's recovered. Now, the last memorial do I did, he came. Oh, brilliant. I said, they didn't know I was going to say, can I have a word with so-and-so's family? I just want to. And John said, right, we'll get you a Kevin De Bruyne shirt as well. And it was so nice to see him stand there and everybody applaud him and him being well. But little things like that are so touching for me.
They certainly are, and that's why I asked the question about, do you get comfort out of stuff like that? Because like we've touched upon, the amount of comments, what you see, what we actually see on your page and stuff like that, it's getting comfort out of somebody's loss, if you like. It's unexplainable sometimes.
I sometimes, I do go on a lot of sites with the stuff. I must be honest, and maybe it might annoy some people. I'm sorry, but
never be sorry. Never ever be sorry.
What I'm saying is, yeah, I know you probably want to see all this stuff popping up all over the place, but believe you me, there's so many people need the pennies. So many organisations like the Air Ambulance, £1,000 they were telling me to get it off the floor.
Yeah,
every penny I raise, and whether it annoys you or not, listen, I'm not doing it. I'm not calling other people who do it for their own gain. I'm not gaining, you are helping people. So if you do buy something and you do see me pop on another page with the same things, please, it's not about me. It's about us, you guys, helping people.
I don't even think you need to even say that, because people don't.
Well, that's showing the sort of person I am.
Yeah,
I do.
Absolutely. People, if they didn't want it, like, for instance, it's more or less on self-approval on our group, because if, and it'll be the same to every other city group up and down the globe, wherever the Facebook groups are. And if they didn't want the stuff on, they wouldn't approve it. So and that's because you're a humble guy.
If they didn't, mate, they're not harming me. They're actually just not helping me. Helps cancer charities and stuff. So I can't, that's up to them. It's their prerogative, but it's stopping a little bit of cash going to these people.
So what's next for Eddie?
Next for me, to raise up to 50,000. Another 16,000. And then when I get to 50, I'll go, you know, Andy, I want 60. But it's great because I'd love to get back to the Atia before the end of the season, but I don't know. Another European.
So, what is the most sought signed merchandise?
Oh God! Do you know what? I'm knackered. I always have my phone on 24/7. I know it's crazy, but my phone. Remember, Australia's different time zone, and if I can sell a piece to Australia and I'm up at 3 a.m, I'll stay up at 3 a.m. It's not a problem. My phone, I've turned it off in respect to you in this interview. It's going crazy over Sergio Aguero. I can't. Luckily, the club got in touch with me last year. I spent, along with about 9 other people, half an hour with him and the general, with Otamendi.
I still keep getting my nose rubbed up with John from John. Oh, yeah. He was there with Otamendi.
How many people wanted Eddie to invite him with the Aguero? It was
Aguero coming up to you, Eddie, can I have your autograph? Yeah.
You know what's really weird, mate? Right. We have a man love. Women don't understand, right?
Aguero's my man love.
Now, Yeah, and there's two people in my life I've really had this thing for, that my heroes. Yeah, well, three. Colin Bell, obviously, and I met him and spent some time with him, but it was great. But anyway, one was Alice Cooper, who I got a backstage pass to me. Now, when I was in the 70s, my hair was long. I wanted to be Alice Cooper.
I've seen the pictures, Eddie. I've seen the
Anyway, so I'd bought all his albums, everything, and it's one of them. I'm thinking, many years later, when I'm in 40s, I'm going to meet him. I hope he's not awful, because all them albums and stuff, I think, what a waste. The man was absolutely. I spent half an hour behind the stage. He was absolutely an awesome guy, and nothing to all the stage in. Not so. Same with Sergio. So I got told I was going to meet two players. So I'm thinking, once in a lifetime, knowing my luck, with respect, it'll be John Stones or someone else, which would be great. Don't get me wrong.
They'd have brought Lee Bradbury back and
Barry Conlon.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, Otamendi walks out in his kit, right? I'm thinking, oh, well, not bad as an Argentinian, innit? Next minute, this little guy with bleached hair comes out with his calves solid, right? Socks down. It's Coon in it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm 6'5". My knees are shaking, right? I spent half an hour with him. So you had to have a photo shoot. So I've got Otamendi one side, I've got Coon on the other. You can have a single, obviously. I looked at them both. I looked at them, I went, John Stones. And they both looked at me and both laughed. And what to say? He's about taller John Stones, that fella.
And at the time, he was probably better than John Stones. Not now. But
I got more game time than John Stones. No, but they were awesome moments.
Yeah,
they'll live with me forever.
Moments like that's what I was just going to say. Moments like that live with you forever. And they always say never meet your heroes, but you know something, unless you meet them, like the Agueros and stuff like that. Because
it's amazing. I stand about 4 or 5 hours before the game, every game at the end, getting the old players to sign stuff, whatever. So you see a lot of these celebrities come that once in a lifetime.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Excuse me. How many of them interact with fans and how many of them completely ignore fans? And you remember Gordon Davis?
I do.
Yeah, he stopped, and the security guard after a while said, "Mr. Davis, you wanted?" He went, "I am not moving until I have signed every autograph for everybody who wants one, because without these guys, I wouldn't be a footballer."
Absolutely brilliant, yeah.
And that sums it up. I like you. I know so many players I speak to on Andy Dibble personally, and Paul Stewart on the phone, and they're all lovely guys. And they've got to remember, these are the guys we followed all over the country. And there's only one part I've ever been disappointed as a Blue, and it was Shakhtar. When there was 114 of us there, dead run the game. And at the end of the game, they all walked off. They never came over. It was a cold night. They all walked off, and we never expected them to get down and bow down, mate.
But just nice to show the appreciation.
If you remember, a couple of lads on the trip, they got straight on social media and said, we're not happy about this. Then we all got a letter. I've sent mine up here. We got a letter each from the players. Edison, I think mine was. You're welcome to a meal for the return leg. So it was 140. That's the only time I think I've ever, and I don't know why, to be honest, because it's not. They don't have to, but it would have been nice for. It's
showing their appreciation. You imagine if, say, Paul Lake was out there in that team. Do you think it'd have happened then? No. I think that sometimes it's the sign of the times between your stalwarts like Lake and stuff like that, and your foreigners, if you know what I mean, your foreigners who it's like derby matches now. Derbies are not like they used to be, because it's just a normal game for some of them. People who have been at your club for a long while, like your David Silvas, your Agueros, your Fodens now, they get it. But you'll have people like, say, for instance, Cancelo, who comes in for his first derby. It's just a normal game for them, and that's
they've done. Yeah. You're right. Your people like Ian Brightwell, Joe Corrigan.
Yeah.
They're so approachable. Tony Bull. Tommy Booth. We all know how Tommy likes to drink when he's away with that on European trips. Top man.
You dodged the question anyway. What's next for Eddie?
I hope people keep following the page and spreading the page if they can. Listen, it's not, if no one ever buys anything off there, it doesn't bother me. Just, it's nice, you guys, when you post little posts about people have passed on, and you say, you know, rest in peace. The people that have lost someone, they really appreciate that.
Absolutely, mate.
Oh, and if people want to follow the page, you know what it is. You can. It's just called MCFC Memorial. Let's not forget past blues. You can Google it; it'll come up.
And I will also, I'll also put the links on this as well, Eddie. You know,
I will post this on the page anyway
yeah,
as well.
and obviously this will go out to all the social media, you know, groups and that. What I've got, you forgot to mention your other little venture. So you will also be creating a Facebook
Right.
page for all your charity stuff. So you can.
Well, this is with the help of a said man that I'm speaking to now, who I class as a really nice guy, right?
It'll be my pleasure. So what's the idea in setting another
Now,
page up?
what I want to do is, I want to obviously keep posting, but I want one page where, through your help, people can click on the link that you'll do for me because I'm a dinosaur, yeah. And you can do, and they can click on it. I'll share it on the memorial page, on my normal page, and maybe your page if you don't mind, where they can click on, and every time I get new, I'll add it to it, so they can actually go on there and see. Because I've about 80 pieces at the moment. It's not just about present players. I've got Troutman, Belley, Summerby, sadly Colin, you know, that were done. We've had them done over the years, and so yeah, things like that. So people can just click on there, have a look, and if they're interested, get in touch with me, or whatever.
And most importantly, even if they can't afford it, share it, because if they share it, they'll be sharing it to people who can afford it and who can make a little bit of a difference.
Listen, I know that people cannot afford everything at once, and I'm the first person to say, if you want a piece and it's £100 or £80, whatever, and you want to put a fiver down and say I'll pay you in 3 or 4 months, bit by bit, I'm quite happy to do that.
Yeah.
You know, that helps a charity. I'm not saying you can only have it because not everybody can afford a man cave. Yeah. But you might want a little. I know. I've coupled off. Look at me. Look at us two. we're beaming off each other. No. Listen, if you want to put a deposit on a piece, I'll hold it for you, and it's yours. And you know, it's a two-way thing. This. Not everybody can afford a piece straight out. So if you want a piece, say, Eddie, I want a piece. Can I only pay so much this week? People have done it. I've still got people paying who order things for Christmas who've hit COVID. I'm fine with that. It's not a problem.
And as I said earlier, the merchandise is absolutely genuine. It comes with a COA. It's that kind of stuff. If you want to go and check it out yourself, go on Eddie's memorial page. You'll see a good collection, a good gallery of absolutely everything. It's also on. There's a display on my website as well, and there's a Facebook page. Yeah, in fact, they're on the Facebook group as well. So don't go and look on my group. No, don't go look on my website. Get over to Eddie's website, because his Facebook group, because that's where you'll see what it's all about. But I'm pretty sure everybody will be members anyway, Eddie.
Can I just add one thing?
Of course.
If you join the memorial page, it's not just about, sadly, the people that passed away in the last few months. If your father passed away 20, 30 years ago, and you want him added, or any family member or a friend with it, the permission of the family that maybe it's a friend, obviously, because I don't want to upset people.
Yeah.
You send me a picture, their details, birthday, sadly, day of passing, and the name. I will put them in the memorial flag, or do them in a nice little montage, and then post it for you. It doesn't matter if they died 50 years ago. If you want an ex-blue remembered, it'll be an honour to put them on there and show some sort of respect to them.
Absolutely, mate. Eddie, is there anything else you want to chat about?
Maybe taking that trophy off the Scousers might be nice.
I'll
tell you what would be nice.
That's a given.
I would love, this is the dream. I don't know if you thought this. Kun Aguero once said, "I'm not leaving City."
I was just going to say that. How fitting would that be for him?
Do you know, could you imagine him, I'm not saying 93-20, but could you imagine him scoring the winner to win that? And if any of those City lads watch these, I don't know, do it for Kun, not for us. Do it for Aguero.
Yeah.
Silva didn't get there. Do it for Kun Aguero. Let's get that trophy on the board. And for all them City fans that say, "Oh, I want the Premiership," no, we want that Champions League.
I want Aguero to stay. That's more important. But that's not going to happen, Eddie.
Hey, got me to have a word.
Yeah, I've a word for us to say.
I wish.
Listen, I look like Gabriel Jesus. Listen, Serge. Andy said he wants you to stay.
Stay. All right, mate. I'm staying. Listen,
but it's been an absolute pleasure, Eddie. Again, I could speak to you for hours and hours and hours. We've got to do it again soon. Maybe at the end of the season, we'll come back on. You'll be speak about your new Facebook, page and stuff like that, and the trophies. Maybe four of them, and we've done over, the whole of the season. Thank you very much for joining us, my friend.
Oh, and listen, thank you for your time, and good luck with your page because it's fantastic.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, mate.
See you later. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.